Don't worry, they're automatic. That is the entire training program. 2 tractor trailers showed up in the yard this morning. Every driver in the building drives a pickup. Nobody has a commercial license. Management says the new trucks are available today if anyone wants to try one, and that they're automatic, so they're easy to drive. Then everybody goes back to work. I want to walk you through what happens next, because I think you're about to do this, and I think some of you already have. Apologies up front to the truckers out there. I'm just borrowing your industry as a metaphor. This is No Doctrine. Here are my observations and recommendations based on 35 years of adopting and implementing technology in real business processes, and what I learned along the way. I should say plainly that I'm not standing outside this story. I ran an audit of my own AI agent fleet and logged 43 failures. And before you decide what this says about me, these 43 didn't happen in a live enterprise environment. They happened in development, my environment, my own testing paths. Real work, real tokens, real cost. But the blast radius was me. In the metaphor, a small town, no traffic on the roads, nobody else for miles. When I sorted them by cause, the largest single layer wasn't the models, not the vendors, not the platform. It was my own glue code. The launchers and dispatch and path handling I wrote fresh for every job. 46.5% of the ledger. I'd been running that operation for months. If you'd asked me the week before, I'd have told you, confidently, that I knew what I was doing. 2 of those 43 were the same defect wearing different clothes. Both were the system looking for a file in the wrong place. One failed closed. It found nothing and reported a dead agent. Annoying. Obvious. Fixed in an afternoon. The other failed open. It looked in the wrong place, found something, and carried on as if everything were fine. The failures that hurt aren't the loud ones. Loud failures are gifts. They stop the line and demand attention. The expensive ones look fine and wait. That second one got caught for exactly one reason. The runner prints the exact path it's watching, and a human read the line. Now let me show you the yard. A hotshot delivery outfit. 8 or 10 drivers, pickup trucks, short runs, mostly the same customers every week. Everybody knows the routes, and everybody knows the trucks. This morning, 2 semis. You already heard the briefing. Automatic, so they're easy. No license check, no training, no pre-trip walk-around, because nobody in the building knows what a pre-trip walk-around is for. There are rules, though. Management isn't reckless. There's a list. Nothing important goes on the new trucks. Nothing headed to a real customer. Simple loads only. Check everything before it goes in the trailer, because some things aren't allowed on these, and it's on you to know which. Check it again when you arrive, because it may not be what you loaded. It may have changed on the way. It may have melted or morphed into something else. Expect the truck to add to your load. You picked 5 items. It may decide 2 more belong with them and put them on. Expect the truck to change its mind. Partway there, it may decide what you loaded isn't really what the customer wanted. It may drive to a different building, go straight through the middle of it, take what it thinks is needed, and carry that to your customer instead. Check all of it, every time. It may all look like the original delivery, or better than the original, but the specs may be totally wrong on closer inspection. If anything changed, stop, go back, and do it again. And you don't have to use them. Nobody's making you. And there's no training available because the trucks are updated constantly, and anything anyone taught you last month may not be true now. Look it up online as you go. Read that list again as a set of instructions given to an actual employee. Every driver in that yard is now a liability, and not one of them did anything wrong. This is a sand table, a military planning model. You push markers around a scale model of the terrain and walk the scenario before anyone has to live it. That's what I'm doing. It is not a report from a company I worked at, and I'm not telling you a specific business runs this way. What it rests on is real. The first thing is my own audit. 43 logged failures, published August 18th, receipts and all. The second thing happened the day after. A viewer left a comment about a client name with a slash in it. Acme/West Coast Consulting went into a folder path. The slash did what slashes do. The files landed one directory deeper than intended. Nothing errored, nothing warned. It would have sat there indefinitely if they hadn't gone looking. That's somebody else's yard. Different line of work. No AI agents involved at all. Same failure. It's the first outside evidence I have that this isn't only my problem. I'd rather say this myself than have you say it for me. A tractor-trailer can do physical harm that a language model cannot. Nobody gets hurt at a stoplight because a chatbot summarized a document badly. The trucking image borrows a weight the technology doesn't carry. And if I lean on that, I'm selling you fear instead of an argument. The bigger gap runs the other way, and it doesn't favor us. Commercial trucking has a licensing regime with legal force behind it. You can't decide on a Tuesday to drive a semi. Somebody tests you. Somebody logs your hours. Somebody can take the license away. Handing an employee an AI tool has none of that. In the trucking version, at least the law is standing in the road. In ours, the yard is open. Here's the part that matters, and none of it is new. A real delivery operation solved every one of these decades ago. Not because anyone was clever, but because people crashed. 1. You don't write your own transport regulations. The commercial license exists. Hours of service limits exist. Weight limits, load securement rules, pre-trip checklists, all of it exists. Every one of those rules is written in somebody's rec. So stop drafting your AI policy from scratch. The NIST AI Risk Management Framework is the risk operating model. Its generative AI profile carries a couple hundred concrete actions you can lift. The OWASP Top 10 for LLM applications is the security vocabulary, where prompt injection and data leakage are named in language your security people already speak. ISO 42001 is the certifiable one, which matters more than it sounds because it produces an audit signal you can hand a customer who asks. And if you sell into Europe, the EU AI Act's high-risk provisions are in force as of this month. You are not the first company to do this. Stop paying tuition somebody else already paid. 2. The truck logs itself. Commercial vehicles carry electronic logging devices and fleet telematics devices. Hours, route, speed, hard braking. That's not an accusation aimed at drivers. It exists because when something goes wrong, I think it went fine, is not an answer anybody can use. Ask a smaller version of that question. Somebody in your company used an AI tool last Tuesday to do something that touched a customer. Which tool? Which customer? What data went in? What came back? Who approved it? If you can't reconstruct that, you don't have a system. You have a rumor, and the bill for a rumor comes due at the worst possible moment, when a customer asks, when a regulator asks, or when your own board asks. "We're not sure" is the most expensive sentence in that room. 3. A governor is not a policy. Fleets put speed limiters on trucks. The policy says don't exceed 65. The governor makes 65 the top speed. One is a hope, the other is a fact. This is the one I'd put on the wall. Most leaders I've watched work through this believe their AI policy is a control. It isn't. It's a memo. And a memo doesn't stop somebody pasting a customer list into a chat window at 4:45 on a Friday, because at 4:45 on a Friday, that person isn't thinking about the handbook. They're thinking about going home. Go down your own AI policy line by line and mark each rule, enforced or requested. Enforced means something in your environment makes the wrong action fail. Requested means you asked nicely. Most people are surprised by that ratio. Be surprised in private before an incident rather than in a conference room afterward. If the only thing between your data and the open internet is a paragraph in an employee handbook, you haven't built a control. You've written a wish and filed it. 4. Check the trailer and check the seal. Weigh stations exist. Cargo seals exist. What's in the trailer? Does it match the manifest? And was the seal broken en route? 2 different jobs, and you need both. Checking what leaves your dock is data loss prevention, making sure nothing walks out that shouldn't. Checking that nothing was added along the way is injection monitoring. And prompt injection, stripped of the jargon, is somebody slipping cargo into your trailer at a truck stop, and your own driver hauling it through your own gate, past your own guard, because the paperwork looked right. The instruction doesn't arrive from an attacker at your firewall. It arrives inside a document your own employee asked the AI to read. This isn't a program and it isn't a purchase. It's 4 questions, and you can ask all 4 in one meeting. 1. What did we adopt? Name the framework out loud. If the answer is, we wrote our own, ask who in the room has crashed enough trucks to know what to write. 2. Can we reconstruct it? Pick one AI-assisted action from last week and trace it end to end. If you can't, you just found your first gap, and it took 10 minutes. 3. Which of our rules are governors? Enforced or requested? Line by line. Count them. 4. Who checks the trailer? Both directions. What leaves and what came back with it? 4 good answers means you're ahead of most people. 4 bad ones isn't a crisis, but don't roll the trucks out yet. My worst failure isn't the one that caught me. The one that caught me was the one that printed a line a human could read. Making the machine say its assumption out loud is the cheapest control I've ever built. And that's the whole argument. A system that announces what it's about to do gives a person the chance to notice it's wrong. A system that stays quiet gives them nothing. And quiet is the default. You don't need to be afraid of the trucks. They're genuinely useful. I drive mine every day. You need to stop pretending that it's automatic, so it's easy to drive, was a training program. One more thing about why this is shaped the way it is. I spent a career split between consulting and managing, and in both of them, I ended up in the same role without ever choosing it. I was the person in the room arguing for the end user, not the vendor, not the roadmap, not the person who bought it, the one who had to live with it on Monday. I go to conferences now, and in the background of those rooms, there's a lot of talk about what AI can do and how everybody's given their people access to it. So I started asking questions, not hard ones, the 4 you just heard. And what I keep getting back is a blank look. Then the moment where somebody realizes they have shipped this to their whole company and built nothing underneath it. No control, no log, nothing that would fail if it went wrong. That's what put this on your screen. Not a prediction and not a product. Just a step back to say plainly what this is before more people find out the expensive way. That's what a sand table is for. It's a scale model on a table. You walk the ground before you have to live on it, and nobody gets hurt doing it. There's a second kind coming, and it's a different promise. Those are where I think this is heading. My read, labeled as my read. Both of them will show up between the field reports, where I show you what actually broke. If this was useful, send it to whoever is about to park 2 semis in your yard. They're the one who decides whether anybody gets trained first. The written version, with the 4 controls and the sources behind them, is on the No Doctrine Substack, link below. And subscribe. No doctrine required.